Listen, I love Guys and Dolls, but I will never not be disappointed when I go see it that one parody song from The Simpsons isn't actually in the show. I will stand there and I will be severely disappointed at not doing Guys and Dolls. They're just a bunch of crazy guys and dolls. Put it in, you cowards. I will always defend a bold revival over something that's just doing the same thing over again. I think there's a real joy in the past couple of years of these revivals that are trying something different with the material. Think of your cabarets, think of your Sunset Boulevards, and think of your Guys and Dolls, which has just celebrated 1 year at the Bridge Theatre. With that, they've just had their first cast change, and actually, I haven't spoken about the show on this channel before, which is a massive surprise because I really, really love it. It took me a while to see it, and then I just ended up waiting for cast change. So today I'm going to walk you through all of my thoughts on Guys and Dolls. What do I think of this revival? What does it do right? And what do I think of this new cast? Let's jump into it. But if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. I am the most chaotic theatre person on the internet. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do video essays, and if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me and helps out the channel. But let's jump into Guys and Dolls. The song still isn't in the show. If somehow you have never seen a production of Guys and Dolls is set in New York. As Guy, Nathan Detroit, is trying desperately to set up his crap game. Stuck by his own choice in an endless engagement with his girlfriend Adelaide, he decides to bet Sky Masterson that he can't pick up a doll. Specifically, Sarah Brown, the leader of a church movement who is trying to stamp out gambling and other types of sin like gambling, but mainly gambling, because that's the plot of this show. It's all about gambling. It's honestly a lot of fun. Some of the elements of it are a little bit more outdated, but when you look at it as a more period piece that it kind of is now, it is a lot of fun. I think it's a classic for a reason, and I think what really brings it forward is its characters. These characters are very defined, they're very larger than life, and it is really nice to see their day-to-day life and their kind of struggles to get by. You have such a neat web of relationships that are so interestingly explored. You have Nathan and Adelaide, these two lovers where one of them is a lot more into the relationship than the other one. You have Sarah and Sky, this really interesting dynamic of a slow burn love affair. Sarah starting off the relationship seeing straight through Sky, but eventually falling in love with him. And then you have the whole dynamic of the crap gamers. Yeah, that's what we're going with. The crap gamers. The gamblers would have been a better name for them, but no, we're going with crap gamers. Yeah, sure. This is the first review I'm doing after having the flu. It's brain not worky. The different characters in this game all bringing out different elements of each other. Especially Big Julian, who's really struggling with the fact that he's losing and taking it very, very badly. I think the story is nice. I think if it was presented to me in a more typical format, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. But it is the staging, the set, and the whole format of this revival that really, really sells it. The experience of Guys and Dolls is just so fun. It is one of the most fun experiences I've ever had watching a show. So much so that I cannot even see myself sitting down for this show. I dislike standing for shows so much. I cannot express how much I do not like standing for shows. I will not sit down for Guys and Dolls. There's so much interaction, there's so many little things that you can get that changes your experience every single time. 2 trips to Guys and Dolls can be completely different just because of where you're stood watching this show. There's so many little tricks and tips that you can do. There's tables that they bring out that if you have managed to get a seat on, you can end up on the stage, which yes, I was on. That was very fun. I feel like it's very easy for something like this to feel a little bit too hectic. With the way that the stage is constantly going up and down, the different movement, and the fact that they've got to clear so many people out of every different area, I kind of got worried that it wouldn't flow. But the team at Guys and Dolls are so good at what they do and manage to do it without distracting you from the actual show. First off, this stage is very high. It's lifted up so high that even if you are right at the back, you have a clear view of everything going on. Even if you're the other side and the performance is happening on a raised platform the other side of the stage, you can see everything perfectly. Crowds do not get in the way. And they have a group of different stagehands, all dressed in police outfits, making them very distinct, who will move you around during the show if you need to get off a certain bit of the stage. Making them very distinct was genius, because you know exactly who is going to be moving you, who you need to let by you, and because that stage is so high, when these police officers step in front of you to move you, they're never actually blocking the stuff on stage. They have managed to get this down to a T. The movement is so slick, it's done so well, it's never distracting, and this constant movement keeps everyone flowing around, giving you different views of the space, and meaning that it's quite easy to get to different points. With the space being as big as it is, you can also, if you don't want to be moved around and standing, you can stand right by a wall. This way you won't be moved at all. It's very easy to slip out of the crowd and go around and move around the space to get different views, allowing for a very flexible viewing experience. And these panels on the floor that lift up keep everything flowing, keep everything moving, and allow this space to become really flexible, making the stage feel really different in every single scene, even though there's only a few props which are very cleverly chosen that come on and off, as well as the neon lights that come down to show you the different locations, including Minnie's restaurant and the Save a Soul missionary. It all leans into this immersive experience, making you feel right on top of the action during every single scene. I feel there are places in the area that are better to watch certain scenes than others. But even if you find yourself being blocked by a certain scene, it's so easy to just move to a different area. There's also so many lovely little touches that bring you into that immersion. There's a direct address from the actors. They recognize you. They speak to you. You may even get handed pamphlets and flyers for the mission. They walk amongst you and through you. There's different props that you can be handed. And all of it builds up this experience where you feel a part of this show. And even beyond the actual show, there's the pre-show as well. When you step into this area, there's all these different carts where you can actually buy programs, hats, hot dogs, which yes, I did buy a hot dog. It was delicious. It's so fun and so immersive. Nicholas Hinter's direction, alongside Arlene Phillips and Jane's Cousin's choreography, just bring this show to life. One of the best choreographed numbers, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, is just this absolutely bombastic moment. This show-stopping number in the middle of Act 2 that is done almost entirely with the cast sitting down on a set of chairs. There's a lot of fun little lifts in the choreography, and it flows amazingly well. This show really does come together to become such a spectacle. And then there's all of this music. So some of the most iconic songs in music theatre history are in Guys and Dolls. Not Guys and Dolls from The Simpsons, though, which I still think they should put in. How many times will I make this joke in this video? Too many times. I love Oldest Established as an introduction to Nathan, and it's probably one of the most catchy numbers that isn't, like, the most well-known songs. I have found myself still singing to myself, oh, it's good old reliable Nathan, 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 Detroit, to myself just constantly. It is embedded into my brain now, and I cannot forget it. There's Adelaide's Lament, If I Were a Bell, Take Back Your Mink. And then obviously there are the iconic numbers in the show that have lasted the test of time. Luck Be a Lady, Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat, Marry the Man Today. All of these heavy hitters coming towards the end of Act 2. The orchestrations just swell in this space. It's a truly beautiful, iconic score. But let's move on to talk about this new cast. I really like this new cast. Some of them have stayed on, but let's speak about our leads. Owain Arthur is our new Nathan Detroit, and I feel like he captures everything you need to know about Nathan. I love the way he delivers his dialogue towards Adelaide, that fear of commitment that just surrounds his character being so well performed. You get a real sense of who Nathan is. His clear priority of the game over his doll. There's a real sleaziness about him that just it's so perfect. But within that, there's still such a charm that really allows you to attach yourself to his character. Tamika Ramsey is fantastic as Miss Adelaide. I love the character of Miss Adelaide so much. She's trying to be stern and hold her ground, but she just can't help but love Nathan Detroit. Ramsey's performance of Adelaide's Lament is phenomenal. She really takes you on that journey through that song. A great reflection of the relationship between Nathan and Adelaide. And as someone who's also developed the flu, I relate a lot to Adelaide. I was sick, yes. Jonathan Andrew Hume is our new Nicey Nicey Johnson, a Come From Away alum, which you know always is the root to my heart. Being in Come From Away basically means I love you forever. Nicely's big moment is Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat. And Hume just sells every single little bit of it. He takes so much joy in that moment. And every single reprise, he gets bigger and bigger. It's a fantastic performance. And then there's George Ironandez as Sky Masterson and Celine Schoenmaker as Sarah Brown. These two, I feel like, are the heart of this show. This show really hinges on the relationship between Sky Masterson and Sarah Brown. The development of these two characters, how they really start to fall in love, their journey, how they slowly learn from each other, is so well explored by these two actors with some absolutely gorgeous chemistry. The contrast you get between their first meeting, where Sarah hits Sky around the face, to later in Act 1 when you get If I Were a Rebel. This slower moment where you really start to see this connection build between them. There's so many beautiful moments between the two, and I'm really glad that these two have stayed through the cast change, because they are phenomenal in their roles. Guys and Dolls is a masterpiece on how to reinvent a piece of theatre. By changing the format of this show, doing it in the round, immersive, you get a completely new view on what Guys and Dolls can do. This immersive revival just emboldens all of the material to create a one-of-a-kind experience of a show. That every time I go and see it, I end up having more and more fun. The fact that just from where you're standing in this show, if you're in a slightly different area, you can end up having a completely different experience, just makes this show effortlessly rewatchable. I would highly recommend Guys and Dolls. It is one of the most fun experiences I've ever had in the theatre. But what do you think? Have you seen this new revival of Guys and Dolls? What are your thoughts? Let me know all of them in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me, it helps the channel. Here's some links to my videos on the screen right now, and a link to my Instagram if you want to drop me a follow over there. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!